first met Steve through the church. Both our families were heavily involved in the Episcopal Church in Swanton. Our dads were lay readers, and my mom played the organ. We both were also acolytes and served on the altar, at this altar, with Father Bragg. He made it lots of fun, and we enjoyed ourselves. Here's an example of a pin that we received every year, just for kicks and giggles, and that commemorated how many years of service that we had been for acolytes. I knew Steve, but I didn't really hang with him until a new school was built that included all the local surrounding towns. It was pretty cool. In the first year, somehow, Steve got elected to be a class officer. We all thought it was quite funny and didn't understand, but hey, that was Steve. We all loved sports. It was important. Steve was a good hockey player, and we always went to support him, and he always came to support us who played basketball. We were always supporting each other. We played soccer together, and we played baseball together. Here's a quick baseball story. One time, coming home from an away game, we stopped at a store to get some food. And on the way out of the driveway, there was this thumping sound. The faster the bus went, the louder the sound got. The slower it went, the slower it got. The bus driver stopped, wondering what was going on, and pondered, but hey, no, so he started again. Sure enough, thump, 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 bang, 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 it started again. We were all going nuts because we knew that Steve was in the back banging on the floor of the bus with a baseball bat. We also participated in skit night. Our story was about storybook characters who were tired of their gig and they wanted out. Steve was A-Bomb, the abominable snowman, covered in cotton. I was fairy godmother with balloons for boobs, and that little rascal to the right of me was the Jolly Green Giant. We had a lot of fun. Eventually, our senior year ended and we graduated, moving on towards bigger things. That was quite a night. Just for fun, this is his entry in my senior year book, and it basically says, hey, don't forget me, and all the bleep that we had been through. Notice on the lower right, the BFA is our local hockey rival, a little added mention there, and a little caricature of A-Bomb on the left. Always having fun. A year or two after we graduated, I got a job at the Tyler Place. It was a local family resort. It was kind of an international and U.S. flavor. I was working in the kitchen as a dishwasher. Steve had been working there as a counselor for several years, and it was quite a hoot working in that place. One day, the manager got a hold of Steve and said, hey, we got a report, there's a bat on the second floor, and he wanted Steve to take care of it. So he came into the kitchen to get me, and I grabbed a couple of brooms, and up we went to the second floor. We were running around on that second floor, swinging at the bat and beating each other to death with the brooms, rolling around and having fun. We finally got that little rat. What are we going to do with it? He got the brilliant idea to put it in the oven for the morning cook. Sure. So we went down to the kitchen and, hey, I better run that thing through the dishwasher to clean it up. So we ran it through the dishwasher, placed it in the oven. The next morning, when the morning cook opened the oven, it was quite a shrill. I was laughing so hard. Sometimes we would go as a staff up to the local quarry and go swimming. This is a picture of Steve and I and Dan, the baker man, jumping off one of the cliffs. There was a person down below on a floating log that took the picture. That was kind of neat. And this is Pun's Camp, kind of a base for, I think, the years 77 and 78. A bunch of us guys lived down there, and we had fun, and we ate, and played cards, and took canoes. It was a nice place. A lot of partying going on down there. And this is the Cuda, one of the cars I drove on one of those summers after high school. Steve loved the Cuda. And we would tool around and drive around with our other friends. One day he asked if he could drive, because we were coming back from the Tyler Place back into Swanton. Halfway between Swanton and Highgate Springs, there was the flats. And I looked up ahead and I said, hey, Steve, there's a skunk up there, so you better take it easy, will you, bud? He said, no problem, Con. And instead of driving to avoid it, he drove right into it and smacked that sucker. My car stunk for about 2 weeks. This is Steve Hunter and his dog Sailor. Sailor was a 140, 150-pound black lab with a head the size of a human. What is significant here is that Sailor was the father of Steve's beloved dog, Herbie. One day, before I took off on a trip on my motorcycle, my friend and I were tooling around Highgate Springs and stopped to say goodbye. that we were going to make one more run around the islands. And Steve said he wanted to go. I looked at him and said, "Hey, man, you got a broken collarbone, your arm's in a sling. You can't go on." He said, "Yes, I can. Let's go." He stuffed Herbie inside the sling, and off we went for an hour and a half ride around the islands. That was just titter, always looking for something. Years went on, and eventually there were weddings, and sometimes some of us guys were all in the same wedding party, and that was kind of cool. Geez, I mean, even Gail, my prospective wife, and I asked Steve to read a couple passages at our wedding. And, being as versatile as again, one day he's running over a skunk and he's beat me with a broom, and the next day he's standing up in front of a wedding congregation reading passages from the Bible. Only TV could do that. He joined the service, and when he was home at Christmas, he'd always stop by. We were having a little get-together. That was always fun. And this was a 5-mile road race down along the majestic shoreline of Lake Champlain. It was called the Floyd Twilight, after another brother of ours who had joined the service, commemorating when he would come home. Once in a while, Steve would make it home. And, hey, even Uncle Ern and Uncle Pun ran this race. Everybody would come. The deal with the fish is this. My brother would also drive up from Pennsylvania, because everybody came to the Floyd, and we were wondering what we could do to make this particular Floyd significant, because Titter was coming home. And I got the brilliant idea, hey, he's a rough, farmy dude. Let's see if he'll eat a goldfish. And he agreed to, so Vin and I went to Woolworth's, into the pet shop, found the biggest goldfish that we could find. And sure enough, when the time was right at the party after the 5-mile run, Titter bit the head off that sucker, dangled the rest of his body by the tail over his mouth, and slurped that sucker down. It got the effect that we were looking for. It was too funny. Many years went by, many years, and this is a gathering, I think 3 years ago, where he was staying with his family at Chucky's house. I brought my guitar down there and played some songs that night, and the following day we went to Pun's house in Williston, and we had I think it was a 60th birthday party. What is significant about that is, little did I know that this would be the last time that I'd get to see my brother. It's kind of sad, but I'm glad I had that opportunity to get one more hug, one more hey from my brother, Steve Titt.
When your back's against the wall,